Hello, everybody. I am Hunter Marckwardt. Welcome to Impactful Thoughts. I'm your host today. I have got the great, one of my favorite humans on the planet, Gavin Ekstrom. In addition to this is a guy that produces a ton of loans. He's an unbelievable branch manager. He runs a division for Cross Country Mortgage. He was my personal coach a couple of times when I made some of the bigger decisions I've made in my life. So I can just guarantee everybody listening to this right now, you will have a lot of takeaways. I would highly recommend grabbing a pen and paper because whenever Gavin's talking, he's got a ton of great content and hopefully you can take some great notes from it. So Gavin, how are you today, brother?
That's the nicest way that anyone's told me that I have ADD without telling me directly that I have ADD.
Why? Why? How did you take ADD from that?
I'm just kidding, because it's like he does all of these things, right?
Yeah.
So no, I don't at all. And thank you so much, because that is a very kind introduction. And you are definitely one of my favorite people. We never get to speak to our favorite people nearly enough. But here's what I love about when you get back in touch with some of your favorite people, you just pick right back up as if there was no time between, right? You do that with some of your best friends, long lost relatives. And so it's an honor and a privilege to have you here. And it's an honor and privilege to have you part of this group, because your experience and knowledge that you bring to this podcast is just absolutely amazing. And you do a phenomenal job. So thank you for being here and being on this journey with us.
Thank you, brother. I want to talk today about I think it's a common theme, but I don't think it's one that people can hear enough about, which is it's February 2025. It's an interesting time in our industry right now. I mean, if you had to, you're always positive, you're always optimistic, but I mean, if you were just being totally transparent with how you thought this environment felt right now, as it relates to what we do for our jobs,
Yes.
Lending, real estate, sales in general, how would you qualify right now? Even from other people that, again, Gavin is Mr. Freaking Positive. If you're talking to your audience, what do you think?
So that's a great question. And I was thinking about this opportunity that we have here today last night. And my wife and I were sitting there, we were watching a show called Gladiator. And I'm watching them go into the ring every single day. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is intense. This is scary. And I relate it to what we're doing every single day. You don't know what's coming out of that gate. You don't know who's coming at you and who wants to take your business and take you away. And that's really what it is. It's like, how do these gladiators get into this fight day after day, right? I feel like sometimes I'm a slave to the business. Yep. And to my reputation and my goals and responsibilities as first off, a father, a husband, and a leader. And it is literally Gladiator. And after I watched it, I was so enthralled, and I hadn't seen that movie in such a long time. I'm like, I'm going to watch it again. Well, there's a Gladiator 2. So I texted my wife. I said, hey, are we on for round 2 tonight? And she said, absolutely. So I'm excited to watch round 2, because round 2 is probably more like 2025 is going to be, and maybe the first one was like 2024. But just because it's a new year doesn't mean that all of a sudden everything's going to change and everything's going to get better. But there's so much opportunity in this market. As a matter of fact, if you write down anything, write down, why not me? Why not me? Why not me to have my best year ever? Why not me to go after that real estate agent or that salesperson or that opportunity that you've just not been taking advantage of? See, someone's going to have their best year this year. Mm-hmm. Why not me?
Yep.
And I think that's where it starts, right? It's like, why not me?
So it starts there, and then someone wakes up in the morning and they got to go to got to go to work, right? Like, we've all been there, right? I mean, I've been there. I mean, I can still get there, right? Where it's like, if you don't have a game plan. So, I mean, one of the things that you're best at are the tactics around, not just, I mean, everyone talks about morning routines. You have one. It's impeccable. It's detailed. Let's just talk about, though, once you get into the office, what are you like? You coach individual loan officers, you coach teams, You coach branch managers, producing, not producing, everything in between.
Yeah.
What do you tell a loan officer that works for you as far as you got to find success in the next 60 days in this business?
Yes. So I do want to talk about morning routine, because when it gets to how we start our day is how our day starts sets the precedent of what's going to happen throughout the day. And yes, my day starts the same way every single day. There's a couple things that I've added. I write down my 3 gratitudes, and they could be something super simple. It could be just the mere fact that I got some quiet time with my wife and watching a movie last night, right? It's the mere fact that I have a phenomenal team and they care about me. It could be something just super simple, that the weather outside, it didn't snow, right? Whatever it is, write it down, right? And here's what I'll tell you. I have a word of the year that I follow. This year, it's growth. Everything that I want to do, what I put it in my body, I put it in my mind, it's growth oriented. So I'll give you an example on that. My wife's not home. She's running the kids around, so I have some free time. I'm like, I've got 2 hours. I'm going to watch a Netflix documentary. And so I turn on the Netflix documentary. I'm like, well, what am I going to watch? Because I don't watch TV. I find the making of the Jerry Springer show. And I'm about 15 minutes in, and I'm like, wait a minute. This isn't growth oriented. Why am I watching this? Right. But I've got to take something away from it. So Jerry Springer literally was a talk show was a news anchor turned talk show host. They ranked the top 16 talk show hosts. Well, there was only 16 talk show hosts on the air at that given time, and Jerry Springer was consistently ranked number 16. They fired the producer and hired a new producer. And the new producer said this, and this is what I got from the growth side of it, and then I shut it off. The new producer said this: when people are channel surfing with the volume down, because Jerry Springer was on at 2 a.m. in the morning, I want to turn the talk show host industry upside down, so that when someone's scrolling with the volume down, or surfing at 2 a.m. with the volume down, that it stops them and gets them to want to turn the volume up. How are we going to do that? Well, random weird stuff, right? Throwing chairs, guys and gals with their shirts off, whatever it was. So then I said this, and this is how my mind works. How can I relate that to what I'm doing today? We no longer channel surf. Now we scroll, right? And now we scroll. And so I went back to my team the next day and I said, we're going to change the way we're doing things. We're going to scroll and we're going to see what gets us to stop in our tracks and turn up the volume and see what they're saying.
Interesting.
Okay. So here's what I changed this year. Do something hard every single day. Do something emotional. Now listen, emotional doesn't mean that you have to cry, but emotional could be making that phone call that you need to make earlier in the day, calling that person that you haven't talked to in a long time, sending a gratitude text, whatever it is, just something emotional, right? Literally, I was walking through an airport and a guy was on my mind that is a very big producer here in Colorado. And I just said, hey, you're on my mind. Let's connect soon. He goes, the craziest thing, I was going to reach out to you. I met him today for coffee and we're talking about him joining CCM. So do something hard, do something emotional every single day.
Gavin,
now, that helps me get my mind.
I'm going to interrupt you because exactly what you just said, I did the opposite, and 3 different things came to fruition without my involvement, and they didn't come to fruition for me. And had I done we've all been there where I've said it's the phone call. It's whether or not it's as simple as I'm about to call the client, but you didn't. And then they called you because they needed something. I can't emphasize enough. Like, you have to act when you have that thought in your head to do something. That's your trigger to freaking do something, period.
Do it.
So sorry, keep going.
But a lot of us have analysis by paralysis, right? We just, oh, he doesn't want to hear from me, or you know what I mean? And so it's like, just take that step. Right. And so getting back to that, I think going in today's world, and the question you asked me is, in today's environment, what would you do to be successful? I think that's what you were asking me, correct? Yeah. I would start with the first 5 people that are closest to me and ask them this question: who do you know that I should know? Who do you know that I should know? And the reason for that is because they know who you are almost probably better than you know yourself. And they're going to put you in touch with people that they feel like you should be connected with. It's called LTV, lifetime value, not loan to value, you loan officers, lifetime value. What's the lifetime value of the majority of your 5 closest relationships? Right? What's the lifetime value? Whether you monetize it monetarily, or you look at it as, hey, this relationship I have, and I think you have a relationship with an older gentleman, and you wrote about him in Sunday Thoughts, and his name slips my mind. Don, you could never put a dollar amount on Don. He's so valuable to you, and he's helped you in more ways than just financially.
Oh yeah,
correct?
Meeting with him Friday morning at 7:30 right here.
Could you imagine who Don knows that you should know?
Yeah, Don knows a lot of people.
I'd ask him that question. Hey, Don, you've known me for umpteen years. Who's somebody that you know that I should know? I'd start there. And then I would literally not be afraid to call the biggest realtors. If I'm a lender, I would start calling the biggest real estate agents in the country. Here's why. 74%. This is NAR. This isn't Gavin made up. NAR said 74% of all real estate agents didn't even close a single transaction last year. I don't understand why some of these good loan officers are like, I'm going to work with the brand new agent in the industry because if I love on them now, they're going to be loyal to me forever. Bullshit. That doesn't happen. What happens is they love you till they get to a certain point in their career. And then a guy like me comes in and wows them, and I take them from you. I don't want to work with new realtors. I have a standard of the agent that I work with, and the newbies don't fit my model, right? So go after the bigger agents. They're doing the majority of the transactions right now without fail. Here's another interesting fact. 70% of all loan officers did 20 million or less in volume. That's interesting. So how good is the competition on either side?
What do you think? Like, if you're the LO that's going, what do I say to the realtor? What do I like depending on the audience, right? The people that are on this call, you go anywhere from, people that are closing a loan or two a month to people that are closing 10 to 20 loans a month. What do you say to the people in between on getting, having to start the process, right? It's like you said analysis paralysis. That's what the amount of people that they come up with the sales strategy. I mean, I sit in these sales meetings with some of my folks, and they've got the plan that they're working on. It's like, and at some point you actually have to make the call, right?
Yes.
So what do you tell those people?
Practice your scripts. Everything is a performance. Everything is an interview. My son, Sebastian, 12-year-old, 3 years into hockey, he's playing for the top hockey team in Colorado just after 3 years. Why? He's relentless with his practice and preparation. And I tell him this, he's now trying out for a AAA team in Colorado. Now that he's going to be 13, there's a AAA team. And so he's going to try out for this AAA team. I tell him this, now that this season's winding down, I said, listen, remember what I told you, everything's an interview. Right now, the scouts are there at the games. They're watching either on YouTube or they're there present, and they're watching how he reacts, how he plays, how he steps on the ice, how he encourages his other teammates, how he listens to the coach, how he switches quickly off and on the ice when they're switching lines. They're interviewing him to see if he's the right fit, because they don't just take everybody. Everything is an interview. No different than someone watching this and saying, hey, can I go on this journey with impact and these individuals, and would I like these individuals to coach me? And so if we treat it that way, we would probably put more practice into what we're doing. Let me give you an example. If you look at, we just had the Super Bowl, congratulations to the Eagles. An entering NFL football player income is $795,000 a year. An entering NBA basketball player, a rookie, 1.1 million. And a actor, average income, yes, there's some A-list celebrities that make 20 million or more, but an average actor makes $59,901. They chose acting in professional sports. We chose sales. You can make that kind of money in any sales industry if you just take the time and practice. Practice your profession. I always wonder, like, hey, why is it that after NFL athletes or any athlete retires, they get fat? So I was listening to a guy today, I forget who he was. He goes, I trained for 13 years of my NFL career for 6 hours a day. And I'm like, that's it. I train for an hour. And there's some days I don't want to go to 6 hours a day. No wonders. I wouldn't want to go back into the gym. Right? But we can make a lot of money. We can help a lot of people if we just practice our profession. So I'm big on scripts, but I don't practice them when I make the call. I practice them prior to the call, over and over and over. And then I find one that works, and I don't move from it. It works. It works.
What do you think about the concept of people saying, I don't like scripts because you never know what they're going to say back to you? Like, I'm more like, I have to admit, I'm more of a wing it. I hate the word wing it. Actually, I'm trying to lose the word wing it, because wing it means just.
You don't wing it, Hunter. If you mind me saying this, is you're confident in your approach. It's not winging it. And here's what I tell people. I can navigate the conversation as to where I want it to go by asking pointed questions to move you along the way.
I think that's, by the way, I think if I was going to have people take away, my guess is, and I could be wrong because I get jaded on, like, I hear scripts and I'm like, I'm out. It's about asking. A script is understanding what questions you need to ask. It's not always even knowing how you're going to respond. It's knowing what questions to ask, and then just concepts like you have to ask 2 more questions, right? You got to go 3 questions deep in order to find out truly, uncovering what their needs are, what their wants are. So if I'm telling everybody, sorry to just cut you off, but if I'm talking to anybody about like scripting, and you want to say to Gavin, I'm not like, it means that I'm reading this paragraph. Doesn't necessarily mean you're reading a paragraph. It means, one, that you might know some basic responses that you then need to turn into your language. And where you absolutely need to script is you need to have a script on the questions that you ask of someone to get to understand where you can help them. Fair?
Yes, very fair. So listen, let me ask you a question. When you walk into the department store on a Sunday or Saturday after writing Sunday thoughts with your wife in your loafers with no socks, let me ask you this. Yeah. And there you go. The sales clerk comes up to you and your wife and says, "Hi, may I help you?" You say what?
No, thanks.
That's a script.
Yeah.
Right? But now, Hunter, if I walked in, if you walked into my department store and I said, "Those glasses look great on you. That shirt is absolutely spectacular. Follow me. I have something I think you're going to absolutely love." Would you follow me?
Yes.
Why?
I'm not going to say because you complimented me. I mean, I would say, one, it was like, it's funny. I'm talking to Jack, my son, about the stuff right now. It's not a closed-ended question for one. And it was personal towards me.
Yes. But do I say that to everybody? Absolutely. And here, I'm going to touch on this. You can compliment your way to a referral. We just don't do it nearly enough, right? Is it Jack who's getting in the mortgage industry, or Thomas?
It's Jack that's interning right now with Derek. Yeah.
Jack. So Jack's getting into the mortgage industry, correct? So here's the thing. If Jack was buying a house and he came to me for his loan, and I'm going through the loan application, and I say, "Jack, you got a 760 credit score. Who taught you about credit?" "Oh, my father and my mother taught me about credit." Well, Jack, I meet with a lot of clients. The average credit score that I see is about a 700. Tonight, when you go home or on your drive back, let them know that we met. And will you do me a favor? Just tell them thank you. Tell them thank you for teaching you about credit. because they took the time, energy, and resource to teach you about credit, you're not only going to qualify for the best interest rate, you're also going to qualify for the best lowest down payment, and the best mortgage program. We're going through the loan. You have $100,000 in the bank. Who taught you about saving? My mom and dad. In the same conversation, will you just tell them that I said they did a phenomenal job and that you should be very proud that do you see what I'm saying? Like, we just don't take the time to do that because we're burning through. Every time I do that, or my team does that, guess what happens? The parents no longer now want to refer them to their old college buddy who does loans or works at the bank. They're like, you're in good hands. This guy seems like he cares about you. And I like the compliment. We all like the compliment. So I talk often about compliment your way to a referral.
I got to just so people understand like when you're talking about scripts, it can sound like, yeah, whatever. I literally walked into Erica, my business partner's office yesterday. I needed something. She was talking to someone about a pre-approval, going through her whole presentation. And while I walked into her office, I heard her say, do you guys realize how much student loan debt you have paid off and you're still able to come up with 20% down? That's unbelievable. And I heard them on speakerphone, and I had done the initial call with these people and I had built some rapport with them. But that response to them, this guy's an engineer, he's stiff as a board, and he just and by the way, I think the other thing is you can compliment people with authenticity. You genuinely mean for a 25-year-old to have a 760 credit score is remarkable. For a 25-year-old to have saved $100,000 is remarkable. For these people to have paid off the debt, it's not all. I think sometimes we worry about sales being like it's like manipulation. It's about building. I mean, if all you did is walk around every day and make someone's day, is that sales, or is that just like make people? I mean, like that'd be a pretty good way to roll through life, right?
Correct. But we talk about actors and actresses, right? Do they sound like they're scripted?
No,
because they practice their lines.
Right.
They watch the tonality. They lean in, right? So, and truthfully, what's in your heart comes out of your mouth.
Yep.
So I know as a parent, when my children go on to buy a house, we'll do the loan, but I love to hear compliments from my kids about my kids. Right? When they go to their friend's house and their parents call me and go, I don't know what you teach your kids, but they're the best. I'm like, are we talking about my kid? Like, you know what I mean? So, but absolutely, I think we just roll too fast through it. Now I'm a salesperson, right? And I do get a little salesy. I've heard your script about, I don't like making cold calls. You don't like receiving them. That breaks the ice and gets them to laugh. And I think that fits you. Right. And so your script, you got to manipulate it, create it to make it your own. But I just think if it can be the same way every single time, you just get in routine because it works. And then you don't have the hangups and go, oh shit, I just need to.
And I have to add that you make the script yours, but make sure that it's successful. Do not fool yourself. Jack, my 21-year-old who's working for Derek, he's calling me trying to roll through some things. And he's like, hey, I'm not here to sell you anything. That's a terrible script.
That's a lie. You're lying from the beginning.
I told him that, right? So, but in his mind, it sets it puts people in his mind, it puts people at ease. So people listening to this, don't fool yourself by making yourself comfortable versus finding a script that works for you based on your personality and temperament, right?
Correct. Yes. My favorite to start anything, anytime I'm calling somebody, listen, they're only cold calls for 30 seconds. That's it. Because after 30 seconds, they're going to know who I am and it's no longer cold. To me, it's a warm call. And truthfully, if they say no, it's just no today. It's not no forever. Right? That's it. But listen, it's literally, if I was calling Hunter and he answers, this is Hunter, I would say, ring. Hunter, let's role play real quick.
What am I?
You're a realtor.
Ring. You're ring. Hey, this is Hunter.
No, hey, Hunter. Gavin Ekstrom, Cross Country Mortgage. Hey, listen, I know you're busy and I'll be super quick. And I know you don't know me. So don't rack in your brain. Like, who is this guy? But listen, the purpose for my call today is literally 70% of our transactions last year closed in 10 days or less. And I just wanted to see, do you think that would have helped you close more transactions in 2024 if you had this opportunity in your tool belt?
No.
Say no. Hey, no problem. I'll send you over the information. But before you hang up on me, time out, because that's what they want to do. So before you hang up on me, just one quick question.
Yeah.
What was your average commission last year?
I don't know, 2.5%.
So in cash, what
Probably
was it?
22,000.
So 22. I'm not really good at math. Let's just round it down to 20. If I could show you in a 15-minute conversation, either in person or on Zoom, scheduled, how every year that we work together, I could make you at least an additional 60,000. Would you give me that 15 minutes?
Yes.
Now say no. Why not? Say I have a lender.
I already have a lender.
Of course you do, and it's not me. But let me ask you this. How long have you been in the business?
12 years.
How long have you worked with your current lender?
7 years.
Again, I'm not good at math, but it looks like you've gone through a couple lenders already in your career. And here's what's going to happen. That lender you're with right now eventually is either not going to have a product or program for you, or they're going to drop the ball. And you know damn well when the ball gets dropped, it's your reputation that gets damaged. So coach, all I'm asking for is a seat on the bench. So when that happens, you have somebody that you can give the ball to and have confidence that are going to score for you. I'm not asking to do business with you today. I'm just asking for the opportunity to start building the relationship.
Fair.
Would you give me the time, really?
15 minutes.
Yeah. Now, I would literally schedule it in person or on Zoom. Here's the thing. Don't just say, if I show you how I can close you 3 more loans. Agents, especially real estate agents, don't understand numbers unless there's a dollar sign in front of it. So put a dollar sign in front of it, monetize it. So then they understand it. Like 60 grand, 15 minutes. What's he going to talk about? Every agent has the same problem. They don't follow up on their leads. They don't have a CRM. They don't have an accurate database. Start there.
And be that for them. Hopefully you're more organized.
Be that for them. If you're meeting them in person, hey, let me bring you coffee. How do you like it? From where? Like, just be specific. The dollars are in the details. Do not say the devil's, whatever that saying is. I always say the dollars in the details. I think it's the more detail.
I had insecurities when I got into, I'm like, I'm not bringing someone a coffee. Are you freaking kidding me? I'm 32 years old. I'm a professional, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Now I'm 50. Yeah. I've got a lot more stuff than I did when I was 32. And if someone asked me if they wanted a triple macchiato, whatever, I'd say, sure, no problem. I'll have it there for you at 10. Like, just take the ego down.
I was literally getting out of my car, and my assistant, as I was getting out of the car, she handed me my cortado from my favorite place, and she said, I was just thinking of you. I literally, I was like, damn, that was that $6 was so nice. And thank you.
I got an alarm, Gavin. I got an alarm that goes off on my phone. I got one that says midday prayers. I got another one that says reach out and give 3 compliments. I mean, it's like,
buddy, I listen. Gosh, again, let me just show you. I have the same, very similar. I would tell you guys to do. If you're not doing this, do this. I want to start waking up at 4:30. I'm about 60% of the time there. 5 a.m. 11:11. My 11:11 call is to check in with me. How are you doing? How are you doing?
With you?
And I literally, because it says this. How are you doing today? We got to check in with ourselves.
Mine says LFG for 4:30 a.m. Let's fucking excuse my language. Let's freaking go. You know? So
and then 6:30, be done. Family time. Nothing else matters.
I'm looking at mine. Yep. Mine says 4:30 p.m. Healthy evening every weekday, right? I don't want to drink when I go home. I don't want to eat too much. I just little triggers. So, I mean, this is the basics of coaching, right? So with that, Gavin and I had a little technical difficulties. So this might be a little shorter than we want. I can't wait to do this again with you, Gavin. A few different things, just wrapping up here. One, thank you. 2, any questions on, I mean, these are some of my, this coaching program is some of my favorite humans on the planet and the best of the best as it relates to coaching with results that, you know, I mean, I can, well, I'm not going to name 100 people right now, but I could. General concept. I mean, it's basically, it's community, it's consistency, it's wealth, it's freedom, with a lot of accountability, but that's what we have to do to get coached. So if you want more info, I'll let Gavin close it out, but admin at Impact Elite Coaching. If you need anything from them, they will jump all over it to help you out. And Gavin, you close us out and we'll leave it at that.
It's the best way to find out if coaching is for you. I've been in this business 30 years. The biggest mistake I made was not getting into a coaching program sooner. Coaching works for three reasons. Number one is the accountability. Number two is there's some fun gamified coaching program. But number three is the most important, is the camaraderie. It's a brother and sisterhood like you wouldn't believe. Many of us that are coaching together, that's how we met. Hunter, that's how we met. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't be here today. And I don't believe that Impact would have been started. And so if you just want to come and see what it's all about, we have a founders call. The information will be attached to this, but we have a founders call that you can come just check it out. And that's what I tell you. Just come and see what it's about to see if this is the right coaching program for you. We all still play at a very high level. We're all still in the business. So we're not retired from the business. We still do our loans. We still run our teams. We run our regions. We run our branches, every single one of us. And so we're best. Someone said, well, what makes you a good coach? I said, you're best equipped to teach your younger self. So what I'm teaching when I'm coaching somebody is what I used to do and the mistakes I made, so they're not making them. But I've done it all at every level in the mortgage industry, and I'm going even higher, and I want you to come with me.